Hi everyone. Today this is a healing show with James Elliot, and
Yep.
I'm 100% sure it's gonna be very exciting and energetic show because it's about NLP, and it's all about how we can overcome uh, all the trauma and actually have better confidence, right?
Right
So
on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
welcome to my show. He's actually
Thank you.
NLP and leadership trainer.
Right on. Yep. Good to be here.
Yes,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, thank you so much. All right, first, tell me about yourself, James. How did you end up? First, your story for sure, and
Yeah, yeah.
tell me how did you end up being NLP trainer?
So it was years ago. Trauma started young, 12, 13, 14. I was bullied a lot, beaten up a lot. I even got lost in the woods one time. So there was definitely a trauma and a fear, a phobia I defeated last summer, actually, with some of my tools and by just saying screw it and going into the woods and hanging out in the middle of the night, middle of the woods, hanging out there for an hour and a half. Sometimes you just got to do it, despite all the tools. But had an interesting childhood and had some trouble in school. And so I had sought to learn more, and I went and I saw a coach finally in my probably late 20s, early 30s, I would say, very late 20s. I'd sought a coach, and it was amazing. I said, "This is amazing." I've had lots of shifts and breakthroughs. Loved Chantel, amazing lady. I said, I think I'd like to do this actually, because I was in the corporate environment for many, many years. I was at IBM. I was at Novell for many years. And I'd started to loathe it. I was like, I'm so done with this. I want to help people. I want to make a difference to the world, people, the environment, and make an impact and really have a legacy here versus, all right, I'm in a corporate environment and I get promoted. And I'm not knocking anyone. I want to be clear, but I just didn't want to be, okay, I'm promoted. Now I can spend more money on probably stuff I don't need and pay more taxes and spend, make another promotion, make more money. That way I can, spend more money on stuff I don't need, pay more taxes. And I mean, ironic as an entrepreneur to make more money now anyways, but that rat race, so to speak. And again, no disrespect if someone loves it. Absolutely. You do what you love. It wasn't for me. After years and years, I learned a lot. I certainly made a lot of money. I learned a lot. Learned what I didn't want to do anymore for my life and who I didn't want to work with. So it was around that time that I'd started learning all these tools. And I said, this is amazing. I got to do this. I didn't want to be in the corporate environment anymore. I was done. And so life, not once, but twice. Once at IBM, I got laid off in the height of my sales career. They would shut down the entire Canadian division where I was, and we were gone. We were laid off. So took a year off to kind of reflect and relax and train myself, learn, journey. And then went back. I got a big carrot, nice big paycheck dangling in front of me. So went back to the corporate environment again, even though I didn't want to. And sure enough, 4 years later, laid off again. Life spoke, life knocked, laid off again in the height of my sales career. I got a call congratulating me from the brand new CEO. Congratulations, you've done so well. This is amazing. We're giving you the President's Club Award, but also today's your last day. And I was like, what? This makes no sense. You're laying me off, but congratulations. It made no sense. So they were shutting down the Canadian division, bringing things back into the US. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed. I felt like I won the lottery. I got a big severance, not bonus, severance. Got a big severance, and which was great. And I was able to take some time off, take the rest of the summer off, and regroup and figure out what I wanted to do. Start taking more courses and then start my business in September that year. And so I did. I said, you know what, fear or not, worry, anxiety or not, I'm going to do it. I got to do this now or I'll never do it. I was single. I was young. I'm like, I got to do it or I'll never do it. So that's exactly what I did. Probably one of the scariest and most amazing things, most rewarding things I've ever done was starting my business and saying, there's fear there, there's worry, there's doubt, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because what if I lose a bit of money, a bit of time? That pales into comparison of, well, what if I get to my deathbed and I'm like, oh my God, I should have done this or should have done that, right? Did I not leave a legacy? Did I not matter, make a difference that was scarier by far to me than losing a bit of money or losing a bit of time or whatever by starting a business and doing my own thing. So, and sure enough, it worked. I've learned a lot of lessons and there's a lot of reasons it has worked, but that's what got me started. Again, and just working on my own trauma. And that's what I got into coaching. And more and more and more. And then I loved it so much. It's like, I got to teach these tools to the world. I have to teach the tools because I want people to go out there and be successful. So I love to speak on these tools and strategies. I love to teach people, not just about PTSD, but about getting past any of your fears or worries or the sabotage of your own brain or of other people, often the people closest to you, ironically. And so that's what I do now. I love it. It's amazing. I'm right now, I'm at the cottage. I'm working from the cottage, doing what I love, helping people, making money, and just serving. And it's so fulfilling. And that's what I want for people. I want that for other people. So that's why I do a lot of these courses and trainings for people to overcome whatever their stuff was, their limitations, their hardships, their belief, the trauma, the whatever it is, right? And I've had some interesting traumas in my life, that's for sure, including a pattern of traumas, which was fascinating. I'm happy to explain that later, but a pattern of traumas, and I believe all the stuff that happens for us, not to us, for us, is to teach us something. And it taught me a huge lesson. It was, I'll share that story later because I don't want to belabor the intro.
For a reason,
but
yes. Just let my audience know that we will have another show with James in Job Reinvented show, and he's gonna talk about his business and how you can be a successful entrepreneur like him.
Exactly.
But today we're gonna just talk about PTSD. I'm saying trauma because these days in COVID, anyone needs some boost, right? So we are not just talking about post-trauma. We are talking about the trauma that we are in, right? All the people, we have a lot of back and forth with lockdown. Some 2 weeks, then we have like 3 weeks, then we are off. There is when you go to shopping, you had lots of fun, right? You go to
it's a way to get out.
I remember going to IKEA. We had our breakfast there or lunch there, and then we had a lot of fun. And right now, if you want to go to IKEA, first of all, it's closed right now. But when the lockdown is finished, I remember last year we've been there, and there was no even a washroom inside the IKEA.
That's right.
It was
That's
like,
right.
what?
And I've had a qualm with several. I've had a qualm with several restaurants with doing takeout because you go there and it's like, okay, here's your fries and your whatever, but you're not allowed to use the washroom. I'm like, wait, how is this helping COVID? How is this helping the situation? When I go to, do I dare to say it out loud? When I go to A&W and I buy food and I can't wash my hands to eat it, like this, and I shame on some of these people that it's easier not to have a washroom open than to clean it, and that's shame on them because it's the opposite of helping COVID. Not washing hands, not cleaning bathrooms, no soap. It's the opposite of helping the situation. So anyway, but to your point, exactly.
What we do in any situation, we're going to look at the bright side, right? So because exactly. I know during COVID, what happened? A lot of people who are trying to stay in their job and are not happy. Because there are lots of people commuting every day. They are not happy of what you're doing. And they have lots of big ideas in their mind. I had a lot of
potential
ideas.
Too. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I have time to do it, right? So that's the bright side, right? This is actually the transition time for all of us to realize what to do and how we can promote ourselves during this COVID, right?
That's and that's the thing. It's not. I mean, nothing in life I don't believe is good or bad. It's just your interpretation of it and how you use it. I mean, to your point, I I took COVID and pivoted my business. Now my business, I teach courses online now, and now I can teach people all over the world versus kind of regional. Or if someone wanted to drive from another province, I have people in the United Kingdom, in Europe, in the US that come to my courses. It's amazing now. I can help so much more people because it was a catalyst. I truly believe, and that's the same as trauma. I mean, COVID's been traumatic for a lot of people, or truly traumatic, and it's a catalyst. And when people realize that, and get out of the story and the oh woe is me, and really think about, okay, what is good about this? How do I pivot? Whether it's COVID or trauma or me getting lost in the woods or bullied or beaten up or coming up. And I used to I don't know what it was. When I was driving, there was several times when I would come upon a car accident, a car on fire, and trying to get the people out. And it was a pattern. It was the strangest pattern. And I'll share that at this time later. But it was literally a pattern of me coming upon car accidents, running out of my car, and had to save some of these people. And it was why? What is this pattern? Why does this keep happening to me? And being reflective and introspective on why does this keep happening? And my thought is, if something keeps showing up in your life, it's because you haven't got the learnings yet, or haven't got the lesson yet, or if you can't let go of some of the trauma, PTSD, phobias, like I've had to do. Again, it's because you haven't got the learnings or got the benefit, we'll say, from yes, I respect how crappy and how horrible some of our traumas can be, absolutely, and that people have had worse traumas than me, right? And I get that. And when you turn that curse story into a blessing story, your life will change. It'll make you stronger. It'll make you able to serve your mission, live your purpose here, help people achieve what you want, you name it. So that is the key of what I found. And I think that's why there was some big stuff I needed to learn. I think that's why, because it doesn't happen. I mean, it may, but it doesn't happen anymore. I don't find these random accidents where cars are on fire and have to go rescue people anymore.
So is that the accident happened to you, or can you explain what
Luckily not to
happened?
me. And I mean, and that was some of my trauma as well. Again, there's been lots. It's been an interesting, a wonderful and interesting life. So no, luckily I'd never been hurt or in these accidents. It's always been driving and finding, cars on fire, cars upside down, smoking, cars with people trapped inside and they can't get out. It's just mind-boggling how just someone random kept, like it was like 4, 5, 6 times. I'm like, this is insane. Why does this keep happening? And unfortunately, one time I couldn't get the gentleman out, and so that was extremely, extremely traumatic. So I had to do a lot of work on that. And even though it didn't happen, it happened, to me or for me, but it wasn't me in the accident or me, a family member. It just is, it happened, and it was very, very sad. So anyway,
Mm.
but again, to teach me something, and there's a lot of lessons in a lot of these things, and I've got a lot of learnings and lessons, and I really believe that these things happen for us, not to us, because I got some tremendous and wonderful learnings out of these situations as well,
Hmm.
and just
So
the knowledge of it reinforces. I want to help people.
beautiful. James, we're going to talk about confidence after PTSD. I know
Yeah,
when trauma happens because you're
yeah,
injured, and the trauma affect your emotional state, affect your
yeah,
physical state, you
yeah,
may have less confidence confronting your triggers,
yeah,
or
yeah,
even confronting your real worlds. So what can we
yeah.
do to build our confidence again?
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head. So there's two things I think is to do the work on yourself. And I find that timeline therapy and NLP have just been just transformative, just and hypnosis too. It'd be transformative to me, and letting go of all this stuff, because I had a lot, and I've grown so much because of it. And I can, if we have time later, I'll share a few tools. But the one thing is, do the work on yourself. Do the work. Instead of running from what bothers you, run towards it. Run towards it instead of running away from it. And in fact, there was a saying during World War II. It's actually safer to run towards the gunfire and neutralize your opponent than to run away. You probably get shot retreating and running away. So as I say, run towards the gunfire, because oftentimes not oftentimes, always will there be learning. So, but work on yourself and also use the tools. Yes, don't, instead of just doing that on your own or just running towards the gunfire, which you can do, use tools. Again, for me, NLP and timeline therapy have been literally life-saving. I mean, again, I mentioned suicidal thoughts when I was 12, 13, 14. Life-changing and life-saving. So find some amazing tools. I believe in these tools so much. I'm living proof that I'm not just here and still alive, but I'm helping people. I'm teaching these tools to people. And it's so fulfilling. It's amazing. And I get to live at the cottage half the year or travel and teach people and help people with their lives, their businesses. And like you said, become more confident so that they can use and leverage all this crap that's happening. So again, to answer your question, again, do the work on yourself, whatever it is. There's a million tools out there. A lot of them work very well. I have found that hypnosis, timeline therapy, and NLP to be literally nothing short of life-saving and transformative. And in the end, though, you are going to have to face your fear and do the difficult thing. And yes, run to or walk, briskly walk towards what fears you, right? I mean, do the work, absolutely. And the fear will be like, whoosh, but they're still probably you still have to get in that airplane. You still have to get in the car. You still have to go out in public. The other, to answer your question again, I find that a lot of people with trauma is there's this fear of I'm not safe, or I'm not safe in an airplane, or not safe in a car, or not safe in front of people if they've had issues with people or abuse or sexual abuse or whatever it is. A big unconscious deeper belief that either they're not safe or that people are not safe. Something is unsafe, and that's what their brain has learned, again, unconsciously or subconsciously. Their brain has learned that something is not safe or that they're not safe. And it probably is not. It maybe in the moment they weren't, but they've forgotten that they are safe now. They're older, they've done more, they can protect themselves now, they're smarter, they've learned from this experience. But then the brain, the deep inside, still thinks, well, I'm not safe. And so that's what causes a lot of these problems, people to run and hide, social anxieties, depression, all these things. And sometimes we do it to ourselves consciously. Again, to your point earlier, you and I were talking, and is this a blessing or a curse? And there's a blessing in everything. Find the blessing. Tony Robbins talks a lot about find the blessing in everything. And that will set you free. That will take those shackles and take them off your legs and arms. It's find the blessing. Because if you're stuck in the story and why you can't, or why this screwed you up so much, or why you can't do this or can't do that, or this person didn't do this for me, or this person did this to me. If you're stuck in that, then, as Oprah says, there's nothing your mama, your papa did or didn't do to you that makes it okay not to live a kick-ass life. And I really believe that. And again, find the blessing. Write down how have a chart, have a table, and write down all the blessings. Why are you better, faster, stronger, more resilient? How can you help people? How has this equipped you to live, whatever purpose you have on life? However practical or esoteric you want to take that. What is your purpose? Why the hell are you here? What's your why? And how can you live a very fulfilling, meaningful life? And that way you don't have to, use retail therapy all the time to be happy, or buying stuff, or booze, or drugs, or whatever, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever the vices are,
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So
you turn
I'm going to
that
talk
curse story
about
into a
this
button.
NLP with you more, but
Yep.
let's
Yep.
just have a few second break and come back again.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Please subscribe to Panta Calhoun Transition channel and order my book Rules of Change for the Better. Tune up your mood and transform your life to reach your biggest dreams. James, I'm going to tell you a story about, yes,
please
go
do.
ahead.
I was about to say, I want to buy a signed copy of your book, but please go ahead. Tell me your story.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Actually, this Rules of Change is my story of trauma. And that's why I put it in PTSD Self-Healing Show. I have other few books as well. But that's what I'm saying. Since I was a child, I used to read Anthony Robbins' books, and I know about the NLP, and I'm also passed a course about NLP.
Cool.
So
very cool.
I know how it works, and I know for some people how fast works, because it's shifting your mindset, neuro-linguistic
Yeah.
programming, right? And you can't believe that's the reason, that was the reason I went to university and learn
No
about
way.
software engineering and
That's amazing.
about programming. Because
Literally
uh,
programming. Yeah. Whether it's our computer or our brain.
real programming, because when you write a code, you can actually create something from scratch. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like a problem solving, and it's like you have a problem that the solution is not there yet. It's like mathematics. So some of these challenging problems and coding makes you makes your brain working and shift your mindset. And the great thing about programming is that you actually structure your brain because it's like a math, right?
Right
And
on.
you can program your mind as well. That's what I did when I'm triggering with trauma, or when I have some problem. I really use it. So give me some concept about NLP, like the concept, like three key concept about NLP and how it can help recovering from PTSD.
Cool. Yeah, I'll give you like a 30-second on NLP, and then yeah, give you some certain tools, because there's a lot of amazing tools, and I'll share some of the ones that work for me. So NLP is the way that it's been developed over the years is people, some researchers in the 70s and 80s modeled the top therapists, coaches, counselors, captains of industry, leaders, speakers. They modeled like the top people and the most successful people in the world. And they codified this, and they created a set of tools, a set of strategies, a mindset, really an entire field. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. And the second thing, NLP really helps you understand how your brain works and your unconscious mind works, and how other people's brains work, how their unconscious mind works, and all of our subconscious or unconscious behaviors, drives, patterns, stuff we do that we don't want. Why am I doing this? Why? And understand that. Or why am I not doing this? And understanding that, right? Why am I not going to the gym? Or why am I eating a bucket of ice cream when I want to lose weight? Or why am I not making sales calls? Why am I not starting my business when I want to? All this stuff. It's all our unconscious automatic behaviors that need the shifting, need the changing, or the feeling you're not good enough, or not worth it, or not lovable, or you're powerless. It's all these things we've been programmed in life by something else, or we made something mean something. This happened, that means this, or that means I can't this, or I have to this, or I'm bad, or I'm whatever. Or money is bad, which is totally not the case. Money is just a tool. Again, nothing's good and bad. It's just our
I
interpretation
said
of it.
money is
So
not a
again,
bad thing. It's a good thing.
it's a good thing. You can do a lot of good with money. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And I've heard this. Money is a magnifier. And if you're a jerk, it's going to make you a bigger jerk. If you're an amazing person who wants to help the world, it's going to help you do that more. Remember, because affluence will build influence. You have more power with your dollar. You can invest in things that you believe, and you can help support things that will stop what you don't believe, right? I'm a big advocate for the environment. So my dollar will go further the more I make, and I can invest in companies that are protective of the environment. I can volunteer, and things like that. So those are a couple of things about NLP, and it gives a lot of tools on not only understanding your brain and how it works and other people, but how to change what has been programmed into you by culture, society, traumatic events, different events. And there's research on something too I wanted to share with everyone that has traumas, has phobias, has PTSD. Usually these people, if not always, are very, very smart and very intelligent. And what's happened is the brain has learned from a small, or maybe not small, grouping of events, or a single event sometimes. I had a phobia of flying because one time in the airplane, it started bouncing up and down, and I was scared to death. One time ever. Sure, there's been turbulence, but one time ever. And so people that have PTSD, trauma, phobias are very intelligent and have a very, very high capability to learn with going through something once. So very, 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 very smart people, capable people. And unfortunately, the trauma or PTSD or phobias hold them back until they release it. Yet they're very smart and they have a huge ability to learn well. And unfortunately, they've learned the wrong thing. My unconscious mind had thought, well, flying's not safe because, you know, one time we bounced around, or someone was abused once. That now I had more than one, you know, attack of bullying, but still, we learn from these things and we program. So NLP will help you deprogram and change these mindset, the habits, the patterns, the devil on your back that says you're not good enough, the crap that happens in life, or the things you want to do that you don't do, and the things you do that you don't want to do and you want to stop those. It'll allow you to change that. And again, because you understand your brain and other people's brains, your communication, your leadership, your influence, and just ability to connect and get trust and credibility with other people, literally through the roof, 100 times anything that you want to do there. So again, it's great for business as well, of course, and coaching. So that's a little bit of intro in NLP. And you go ahead. You asked me a question about kind of how NLP and timeline therapy, which is kind of a sister, can help with phobia. But I think you had a question.
Yes. No, actually, I'm talking about this programming stuff that you said. How you can distract yourself from what you focus. Let's say if you are followed by a thief one day, which I was, I was followed by
Oh,
somebody,
cool.
and somebody actually threatened me with the knife point, robbed my car, and then I was injured. As I had a phobia of being followed for years. And by the time I had this phobia, that's interesting. I've been in another country, even I was immigrated and I was in another country. Again, that happened to me. So you see, some other people attacked me and they robbed my wallet and they punched to my face. And then I said, there is something wrong. It's not about the place you're living or the environment, you know. I used to think that, okay, what should I change in my mindset? What I feel like, what I felt, I didn't feel safe because I always thought that somebody's following me, especially when I went to very um, very unbusy places, very like a bridge that nobody's there, or somewhere. Yeah. So I said the crime is gonna following you if it's still in your mind, and you are actually creating this in you, and you every day you are feeding this crime in your mind. Somebody's following you, somebody's following you. These are repetitive patterns, and it's gonna happen to you because you created in your mind. So I stopped it. One day I just sit to myself and said, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm just living as normal like other people, and I'm not having any fears of what. So instead of thinking about being followed, I try to use a lot of distraction. Let's say when I go somewhere which is naturally beautiful and is not busy, I try to look at the nature instead and look, oh, what a beautiful bird, what a beautiful flower, and I use my five sense to capture these moments. And nature is a really great inspiration for me all the time. So I think distraction can really help you confront triggers, and with this distraction you can actually program your mind again.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because you're right. Our minds will go off on a wild freaking goose chase if we let them. And so to your point, nature or anything that will ground you, anything that'll help you relax and get in your body and be present and get you out of the mental monkeys and just the wild goose chase. And my mind used to do that too. And, oh, this is going to happen. Well, that's going to happen. I'll lose money. I'll lose my house and condo, and then I'll be broke and I'll live on the street. And I'll be addicted to drugs and I'll die. All that from a month that was a little slow in business, and just it just our minds like doing that. So I'll teach you a tool called a pattern interrupt, because that is a pattern. And again, it's about this knowing that you're safe. But I love what you said, because that's critical, is deciding, like, this effing stops now, and I am going to be different, versus woe is me, and having a pity party every day, and trying to get attention, or whatever it is, or have people pity you or feel bad for you. And because that makes you feel better, well, why don't you decide to change your life and decide to feel better, and to no longer let this bother you? And sure, it may be hard. It may be hard as hell. And that's okay, because you'll get there. And I'm living proof. And as are you, Pentia, you're living proof that you'll get
Yes.
there, guys. And, it ends. It does end.
I
It takes
think
some work, and you have to do the work.
yeah, trauma is good for your life. I'm telling you. Because when it happens, you reprogram yourself. You have some revision on your habits, and you try to promote yourself to a better level. So if
Yeah,
it happens to some people, and some people don't have the same capacity, they go to deep depression. They use other
mm-hmm.
distraction like drugs and alcohol and
Yeah,
other distraction to get rid of it.
exactly. Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you are in a better situation and you really love yourself, if you love yourself, then you don't let yourself down. So you try to rebuild your future again, rebuild. Because I was thinking, that's not going to happen to me again. I'm here, I'm going to build my life again. So from that trauma, my
yeah,
life go from zero to, I mean, not zero, maybe 50 to 100. So I live my fullest life right now, because
yeah,
I every day I get up, I'm very blessed for whatever I have. I have a sky on top of me, and I say, by the time the sky is there, I'm alive. I can breathe. I don't have any health issue. These are the great things. Only, other
yeah,
things like money or success, these are things you can gain it if you work on it. And if you
yeah,
have the
yeah.
right mindset, it's not going to happen accidentally. Because even if these opportunities come to you accidentally, you cannot grab it, because you are not in right frequency to use that opportunity. But if you are in the same, I mean, right frequency, you can see the opportunities, you can use the opportunities, and you can grow with them. Yeah.
And that's it. Like you said, it starts with a decision. And too many people, it's like, well, when I, then I, or well, when this happens, then, or when this stops happening, then I can do. No, decide what it is you want, and commit to it. Not just, well, I'd like to lose weight, or I'd like to be better, or I'd like to start a business. No, commit to it. Decide and commit to it somehow.
Exactly.
And then life, the universe will bring it to you. You can't say, well, I'll become a this, or I'll start my own business when, everything's perfect. Sorry, guys, it doesn't happen. Life isn't perfect.
No,
However, if you
no.
decide that I'm done with this stuff, I'm done with this trauma, I'm done with this crap, I'm done hiding or worrying, or being stressed all the time, or taking crap from people, or whatever it is, I am done. And then find a way to commit and take action. That, I remember I said earlier, the two things: use the tools and take action. Work on yourself and take action. That's the thing. And like you said, I decided, you decided, this is no longer going to, I am done. From this day forward, I am done. No matter how hard it is, no matter what it takes, I am done. And it took some time, although I dislike when people say, change can take a long time. It can, if you do it the hard way. Change can happen instantly. And that's to your point, and of course,
Exactly.
earlier, Pentia, it could happen, especially with things like NLP and timeline therapy. You can have massive changes very quickly, because
Exactly.
you're working on that unconscious level,
Your mindset.
95% of your brain. You can, and that's why I don't love talk therapy, talking more and more and more about the problem. It's just gonna, well, how's the problem this week, or how's your, and that's why not to knock anyone,
No,
sometimes
it's
that's why
it's
certain
so
support groups, that's
um
the way to,
it
yeah,
hurts when talk therapy for, because
yeah,
I remember when I was in that trauma and that situation, I really didn't want to um hear about that trauma. I didn't want to remember that accident. I was not in the right mindset to accept what happened to me. It takes time. It takes time to
yeah,
have that peace in yourself, and make that decision. Have inspiration, enough inspiration to do the change. But as soon as you have that strong inspiration, that's it. You can
Yeah,
start acting, you
that
can
decision.
start working on yourself. Yeah. So I see you have a YouTube channel. Wow, perfect.
I
I
do.
already watched
I
some of
do.
them
I do.
actually. Yes, and you have a very great website. I
Thank you.
look at it. It's beautiful. So let me about these website and your YouTube channel. What do you do exactly there? Like, do you have any program, any freebies, any
Yeah.
how people can contact you? Yeah.
Right on. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a lot of things we do. The YouTube channel is great because not only do I'll do one tomorrow, a weekly tip, a short mindset hack or a weekly tip or success hack. I do my podcast there. It'd be fun to interview you as well and have you on. It'd be great. And, so people get a great number of things. They get me talking with other people. They get a success hack or a tip from me as well. The website's got lots of cool information as well. It's got different testimonials as well about the different things I do and the tools I train as well. And I have a freebie coming up as well. People can watch out for. There's a free NLP mini breakthrough course that I'm creating, and it's probably about 80% done. It's a shame it wasn't done for today, or I'd give you the link. However, there definitely is a lot of great stuff coming. So that's the good news. And what else? Actually, you know what? If I'm trying to think here if I can give someone a URL that would give them access to the free course, but let me think on that one. It's just the tools. I wanted to share a couple of tools. Saying that would be very valuable as well to share a couple of tools with everyone and leave them with something awesome. So a couple of things I wanted to share before we go. Yeah, and keep an eye on unleashyourpower.com for the free course. It'll be a cool pop-up that comes up. But I want to share a couple of tools. One is called 4-7-8 breathing. By far the best breathing technique I've ever seen. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And the science behind it is when you double the exhale breath than the inhale breath, and when you take time versus hyperventilating, it's going to put you in fight or flight because your body's not getting oxygen. It's triggering your fight or flight. A nice big breath. And practice taking those. But again, 4-7-8 is wonderful to get you present and grounded and in your body. And that in itself will stop that monkey mind and the wild goose chase of, well, what has happened? Someone's following me. What if they stab me? What if I die? What if I can't see my kids again? Or what if I did? Right? The wild goose chase. Your brain, guys, because of evolution, our brain is wired to look for danger and to think about danger all the time and overthink danger. Unless you're NLP trained, your 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, most of them are negative. If you want to change that, happy to talk. It'll change your life. For now, what I'd like you to do is 4-7-8 breathing and because again, all it is a pattern that's gone awry. It's a pattern of overthinking or anxiety or fearing the future or fearing certain things. It's a pattern and a mindset program that's gone awry. What I want you to do, it's called a pattern interrupt. It literally is going to interrupt that pattern, stop that pattern. And so that voice in your head or the worry, oh, this is going to be bad, or someone's chasing me, or someone's fault, they're going to beat me up again, or they're going to abuse me, or I'm going to get assaulted again, or that guy or that girl looks shady and maybe they're going to abuse me or attack me, or whatever happens. For me, it was the woods. I got lost in the woods when I was younger. And for years and years, I was afraid of the woods because I thought I never had been, but attacked by a bear or animal, I'd be lost, never found my way out. It was a fear of the woods. And it's a beautiful, wonderful place to connect with nature and a very grounding place. So what I want you to do, guys, is called a pattern interrupt. Very easy. It'll interrupt that pattern, interrupt that wild goose chase. And what you do is in your head or out loud, if you want, is yell at that voice or that thing that's going crazy. Say either stop it or shut up. Especially if it's saying like, you can't do this, they're not going to like you, you're going to get blah, 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 or these people don't like you, or anything negative. Tell them to shut up. Avoid putting up with that voice. Literally, it works so well. It's called a pattern interrupt in NLP because it stops that negative pattern, right? There's one on my YouTube video as well called the fear to excitement hack. And it's when you trick your own brain. If it's fearful and anxious, for example, when I'm flying and I've used it and it works, but it doesn't have to for flying. It's because you trick your brain. You take a picture of a desired outcome. For example, when I'm flying, I'm a picture of me on the beach drinking cocktails in the sun, And when that plane would start bouncing around, close my eyes, I'd visualize this picture of me just relaxing on the beach, how amazing it is. And I would say to myself, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, and repeating, I'm excited. And because excitement and fear and anxiety have similar body reactions, you know, your heart's pounding, you're breathing fast, you're sweating, you're nervous, anxious. Anxiety and excitement have very similar physical manifestation. It's only in the brain. So focus on something safe or something exciting, something you want, something that when you get through this moment, you'll be rewarded with something amazing. Focus on that, see that, hear that, feel that, and say, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And you'll get excited. It works so well. So that's yet another pattern interrupt. You know, stop it or shut up works very well to that monkey, or when your brain goes crazy. It's like, stop it. And like, for example, mine, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, it was like, oh, this is going to happen. And what if this and this is going to work? And what if I lose my money? And I'm like,
what I'm doing
stop
for
it.
interrupting right now? You know what I'm doing? I just say, okay, take it easy. I don't want to think. So I'm just stop thinking. That's it. Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
take it easy.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm going to think about it later. You know, I don't need to think about it. Well, let's just enjoy the nature or whatever.
Exactly. Or, hey, brain, can I worry about this later? Like if I can't sleep, it's like, do I have to worry about this now? Or can I worry about this later? And honestly, the answer is, yeah, I can worry about it later. That also works very well. Yeah. So I know this is a whole slew of tools in 4 minutes, but can I worry about this later? And you know, my brain says, yes. I'm like, cool, yeah, I can worry about this later. Cool, I'll put it or write it down if you guys want. That also helps to get it out of your head and like, well, I won't forget this in case I need to worry about it again. Or if it is important as well, write it down. That way your brain won't be trying to cycle through it. It helps you sleep as well. There's lots of stuff. There's journaling as well. Journaling and notebooks for your feelings. Or a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. And it's have a gratitude journal, realizing how great your life is. Have a mood or feelings journal, and even have a journal to remember stuff. Because sometimes people with PTSD or trauma have trouble remembering or with short-term memory. So write down, journal, notebook, even stuff you need to remember. Again, fear to excitement hack. Shut up or stop it to that monkey or gremlin or devil or that voice that's saying, oh, this is going to bad and I'll be attacked and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. This means this and that. Stop it or shut up. And firmly, and you may have to do that more at first than when you, the more you do it, the less you'll have to do it. So stay on it, be on it, because the new, that stop it, that shut up, that, you know, oh, I'm just going to relax. I don't want to think about it now. That becomes a part of the future pattern. So it stops happening, especially when your NLP in the field. Yeah. That's, I guess the last thing, if I may, and then I would love to share this. Often if we have panic attacks, anxiety, we're in the moment and we have this intense fear or intense phobia, panic attack, that kind of, you know, the heart like clenching or however you're experiencing it. Close your eyes and ask yourself, when I think about this, when I think what I'm feeling, what's going on, do I have a picture or movie in my mind? And really check in to see what picture or what movie it is in your mind, because that is what's running that. You know, we don't have too much time.
Yes, exactly.
These movies and pictures come from.
I know.
But that's NLP, a part of how NLP will help you change these people. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupt. I didn't hear your voice. That's why.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I said the moving picture.
Oh, no worries. No.
With NLP works, how you can bring the picture near you or go far away from the picture. If you just want to forget it. Yeah. Or changing the color in visualization. Yeah. Okay, James. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. That was a lot of tools really quickly.
Yeah, look at
it was a lot of tools really quickly.
Here. Any slide.
Hello.
Yeah, great tips, James. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you
like
so
you were
much.
saying, yeah. My pleasure. Like you were saying, if it's something you like, bring the picture movie in. If it's something you don't like, send the movie or picture as far as possible into space, into the sun. And just like you said, Pantea, that's a huge way to increase the intensity of something you like or decrease the intensity of something you don't like, i.e. panic, trauma, phobia. So it's been a pleasure. That was a lot of tools really quickly, but I wanted to.
Yes, thank you for so much information. Thank you so much, James. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll
You're
see
very
you
welcome.
again
My
in
pleasure. It's
another
a pleasure.
show. Yeah,
Sounds good.
bye.